Hi, it's your $2 Tuesday movie host here, and I'm back to review another section of the Oscar nominations for 2022. So this time I'm going to be looking at actress in the leading role. And some have been asking, are you really watching all these movies? Yes, I watched every one that I am rating. If I didn't watch it, then I'm not rating it, and I will say I didn't watch it. But these are the actresses in the leading role. Again, we have five people, and we're going to start with the Michelles. So the first Michelle is Michelle Williams, who is brilliant. I love her. She plays in the movie The Fablemans. She is the lead female. She plays the mom of Sammy, who is the leading character. She is so beautiful in this movie and transcending. And she really does steal the movie from the main character. She does. She steals the show. Mitzi, who is her name, is a complicated yet very realistic character. She could have easily been the protagonist in this movie, but she was written and portrayed in a very beloved manner, I'm sure. And it went well. It was believable. And I loved it. She did such a wonderful job. And she's one of those characters that was intricate to the movie. I think if her character hadn't been a part of the movie, it would have not been as good. Because even though this movie is mainly about the love of cinema, it's also about this character, the main character, Sammy's love of his mom. Not specifically his family, because he does love his family, and you get to see that in the movie, but mainly his mom. And even after everything she does, he finds a way to not only forgive her, but to, in some ways, put her back on that pedestal that he once had her on. So, yeah, she does a brilliant job. And I think some of the viewers end up doing it as well. But it's up to you all to see. That's what I saw. I didn't necessarily put her on a pedestal, but I do believe she is wonderful in this movie. And Mitzi as a character is wonderful as well. Is a mom, she's a wife, but she's also a woman. And she doesn't take away from any. Well, she does, actually does. And when she does, you could see that there are missing pieces from her, even though she tries not to show it. So in the end, she has to bring on that missing piece. And everybody thinks it's because of the man. But no, I believe it's mainly because she knows that there's a missing link, that woman part of her that she let go of in order to take care of her family. So that is my take on that part. She is wonderful. The other Michelle that is nominated in this category is Michelle Yeoh, who has been getting all kinds of praise, well deserved for the movie Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Okay, so in this movie, she's the main character and she plays the mom. She is so great in this movie because at the beginning, she's just like the viewer, confused, wary about what's going on, and a little disgusted. And then she becomes not only the master, but the conqueror of this situation that she's found herself in. And that's why I think she's been getting so much love. And that's why I think she's been winning and being nominated so many times for different awards this season because she deserves it. She's excellent. This movie is so excellent and it's so original, but at the same time, it's like the same old tale: family, dysfunctional family, working through their problems to try to be together. Except they take a whole different take on it. Like, whoa, they go out the box so far. It's wow, but it's well worth it. Okay, so the other ladies in this category, the next one that we'll talk about is Cate Blanchett in the movie Tar. Now, I have to say, Cate Blanchett is so convincing in this movie. I thought this movie was a biopic, but I come to find out later on that this movie is not about anyone. It's a fictional character. In this movie, Tar, she plays the title character. Um, as with all her roles, Kate Blanchett morphs so seamlessly into the role she is playing. It is easy to think of the character she is playing as real. The problem is the character, as I said before, is not real, but also the character is very one dimensional. She never changes in the whole movie. She has a quite an elitist attitude in the entire movie. She never leaves that, even though you can see it's kind of flailing at one point, but then she goes back to it and it stays. And I sort of find that disheartening. But I think it's part of who Tar is. Even though an actor can do a great role and do a great portrayal of that role, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's Oscar worthy, because I don't think it was very difficult to do her, because she never changes, she never flinches. And I'm sure that's the way with some people, and that's very realistic, but it's also very boring. So for this reason, I think that Michelle Williams and Michelle Yeoh are still much more of you know, a winner in this category. Andrea Riseborough, and the movie is To Leslie. And Andrea plays the title character. Okay. She did a really great job in this role. At times, it was so hard to watch her at her worst as the viewer. I had to know what would be her rock bottom, because she hit a lot of bottoms, but she kept going and getting worse and worse. Then once she finally reached bottom, it's hard to wonder what could she do next to get back up again, or if she was going to get back up again. There were really no good guys or bad guys in this movie, just good choices and bad choices. She did an excellent job in this movie, and this was an excellent movie to watch. It had an excellent supporting cast. It was a story that, is not really new. It deals with substance abuse, physical abuse, um, parental abuse. She's not a very likable character. At the same time, you know that she's fighting a disease, and some would say self inflicted disease, but a disease nonetheless. And also the fact that it starts out with her being like one of the happiest people on earth, or so it seems. The Michelles just had these characters that were written so well, and they did an excellent job portraying them. And it was almost an original take on situations that are not original. The character of Leslie is great, but it is not an original, character. It's not an original story. She doesn't do really anything new that hasn't been seen before with this character. She does excellently, and I could have seen plenty of people playing this part outside of her. Name one, Alfre Woodard. She always does a great portrayal in these parts so convincingly. You would think that she, at one point in time, was a drug addict or something, and I don't think that was ever true of her. But yeah, she probably could have done it better. Not anything against the Andrea. So the last woman in this category is uh, Anna de Armas. And I just want to say, and of course, she does the biopic for Marilyn Monroe. And this movie, the name of the movie is Blonde. And I want to say up front, this movie, I felt sorry for both Marilyn Monroe and Anna de Armas, because this movie was just awful. I felt it like the director took advantage of her, and he probably did it, and I'm sure he did it. And I'm not saying that the director is a bad person. I felt like every other scene she was naked, and it sometimes it wasn't even in context. Why? I mean, I don't think that Marilyn Monroe walked around naked all the time, and if she did, it wasn't definitely noted anywhere. But it seemed like that's the way they always wanted her in this movie, and in the most sometimes awful scenes, you know, sexually explicit. And I don't think that was necessary either. Or rather, I don't think that was needed each time to get the point across of the movie. So yeah, this movie for me was a no-go. I would not watch it again. But I do want to go back to Anna de Armas for a moment and let's talk about her character portrayal. She looks so much like Marilyn, it is crazy. They actually put up a video of Marilyn Monroe next to Anna de Armas, and you almost can't tell who is who. She also depicts Monroe in this movie so well, it is like I had gone back in time. She does do a good job. I read that there were critics talking about the voice she used. That is a very dumb critique. I mean, no one gets the voice exactly right, especially when the voice is so unique. Marilyn Monroe had a very specific, very unique voice. No one's going to get it exactly right. No one has. And there have been plenty of women that have played Marilyn Monroe, and none of them have gotten the voice right. So if I just had to look at excerpts of her in certain scenes playing Marilyn Monroe, like um, when she did her scenes of the different auditions she did, she was so great. It was like very mesmerizing. So if I could just go back and look at those little excerpts, I'd be happy. But I never want to see that movie again. The Michelles are the winners in this category for me. Michelle Yeoh has a bit of a more of an advantage than Michelle Williams, but that's my choice. Well, tell me what you think, and I hope to see you next time here or at the movies.